Hello, everyone, and welcome to another talk. We are going to look a little bit further into the tune here on Lady Bird. So we checked this out, I think last week. And so take a look at it again. This time I've got tablature. So it's going to be Lady Bird, kind of part two. So this is coming from the Jazz Guitar Omnibook. And the solo that we're looking at is by Peter Bernstein. All right, so I think that tablature may be helpful to folks, but you can really read either one. And so we're thinking about Lady Bird here. And I'm going to go into, I think we maybe looked at one chorus. So we'll look at the second chorus here, and we'll play a little bit from that as well. And so let me know if you have any questions as we go along. This is a video for members of the YouTube channel. And also available as a podcast. Although I had a lot of technical issues lately, but so hopefully the audio is coming out okay. But the podcast was kind of on hold a little bit while I got these things kind of sorted out. But I think things are getting back to normal somewhat here. All right, so we'll take it from, let's say, the very last measure, just before the second chorus, and take it from there. All right, so we end up right on the A flat. Okay, and so we've got, so he's got the slide. Okay, so we have the D flat 7 there, right? Okay, so he kind of slides into the 7. Okay, and then we get all kind of to be expected chord tones from the A flat, and then goes to the 9 on the D flat. So just kind of in isolation, looks like the A flat minor triad, right? All right. So we get that. Zoom into the guitar neck here a little bit. Okay, and then we're on the C major. Well, tabla shows it going way up to 10th fret here. So I'll go with that. All right, so we want to know how the note relates to a certain chord. So if you have this, that's G, we have the chord C major 7, so you might think, okay, play a chord that might fit into, right? This is actually the same chord as this one, but on the low 4 strings. So try to think about how the note relates to a chord. Okay, then we have this is the 9th of the chord, so you could try to build that into some other chord, so play that, or how about this chord? And that's the same as this chord over here, C major 9. Okay. All right, and then we have kind of a grace note, but that's part of the C major triad. Okay, and goes to B. Okay, gets the D. So it's kind of like an octave higher where we're getting this D, which is the 9 of the chord. Okay, so let's see if we can get a little bit more going here. And this is following under our overview and analysis kind of talk, which we typically do on Mondays. And hope you got a chance to check out Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Released that video on Saturday. So hopefully there's an opportunity to work on that a little bit this week. Okay, so here we go to G. So anytime you have a note, try to figure out what note, how it relates to a chord. So that would be the 9 of that chord. So we have 12th fret up here. And this is a great way to get accustomed to different chord shapes too. So they have that 12 way up over here. So then you can say, okay, I'm going to harmonize F minor with this G on top, right? And find different ways to do that. So in standard tuning, that you have 3 different shapes there, at least for that particular voicing. Okay, and so let's move up here. Next chord is B flat 7. Okay, I'm going to go with what the tablature has here. So we have 11, 10, 8. So chromatic. So the chromatic, anytime you're doing 1 fret at a time, then that's chromatic. So now it's slurred. So you might do pull off, slide, or you could do it with 4 fingers and do pull off, pull off. Okay, and then we're gonna play. Okay, make sure I'm getting these notes right. So that's a G augmented triad, or B augmented, or E flat augmented. Augmented is symmetric, so all the inversions look exactly the same. So what does that look like for B flat 13? Well, or B flat 7, I should say. Well, it makes it suspended, makes it a 13 and a flat 9. So we want to kind of identify those things. Okay, and then it goes to A, and we want to think about, okay, how is A related to C major, right? So A is the 6. Okay. All right. Well, what do we have here? We have B, we have D. So we're just kind of stepping out. And that's, that's interesting, right? Because it starts on C and he plays a lot of non-chord tones. So it gives us a little bit of tension to work with there. So, and then we get C major triad, which is going to be an inside sound. And then he plays a little out and then back in. And then he kind of steps out a little bit with the 9 and the 13. So, so a great way to practice all these things is to try, or maybe not try, but do it. But to play the, make a chord sound under it. Okay, so what do we have here? We have B flat minor. Okay. Okay, so B flat minor. We have the G, so that's 13. That's a little bit of a dissonance. But he's been doing this, so he's been kind of approaching whatever the 7th of the chord is from a half step below. So that may be something that he likes to do. Maybe playing that in a different spot than the tablature. Let's see what we got here. It's really hard to make out what those digits are. Okay. So that's a pretty cool little bit of a line, right? We have this A flat, G, F, E, E flat, right? So we get this a little bit of a line, and then there's another kind of melody, you might say, going along with it. So a little kind of single line, but it almost kind of feels like counterpoint there. So we have it's a nice line. And then we have, okay, that's the 3rd and the 5th of that A flat major 7 chord. Okay, so move on a little bit. And I don't remember actually exactly where. I should have marked it down, but where we stopped last time, but let's see, 87. But anyway, if we end up reviewing, that's okay too. So kind of one of the takeaways here, try to, on an individual level for individual notes, try to see how it relates to a harmony, right? To a given chord. All right. Okay, so we'll get started back up here with the next line. We'll try to get through one chorus here and try to gain some insights into how Peter Bernstein is thinking about this. And I would encourage you to check out this book, the Jazz Guitar Omni book. I'll try to put a link in the description. some point. Okay, that's gonna help me see better anyway. Okay, so we have B flat minor. So try to think in terms of the context of whatever the chord is. Okay, and we're going to 9, sliding in, 13. Okay, what's the significance of sliding from 13 to 12 there? Because he's going to land on a chord tone, so he's really identifying what that tone is. Here on the B flat minor, he's also identifying this chord. So that's the arpeggio of the B flat minor. Okay, and he kind of steps outside there. So he's kind of encircling that. So you get, okay, it's a little bit of an outside tone, but it's we're encircling that B flat there for a moment. That's the root, and then he's gonna slide back down to the E flat, the G, the third of the E flat. This is a little bit of a scale, we might say, that we've talked a little bit about. It's hard to take it, take the origins of what someone's worked out in their own playing, but we can analyze this and think, okay, kind of a bebop sort of sound on that. Right? And then we end up on, okay, and then he's got this D flat major triad. So that's pretty cool, building a triad off of the flat 7. And then we have A flat major, right? So we have 11 and then the 13. Okay. And so here, again, trying to think about the chord tones of the or what the chord tones are and how things relate, and then also seeing things over time and thinking about, okay, well, is there a chord in there or something like that, or is there a scale or some sort of concept that we're working from. Okay, so let's keep going here. Okay. All right, so again, our chords, what we're thinking about here. Okay. So if we just come out of this progression, right? So we've got still have A flat. Okay. Right, so that's all out of A flat major, right? Okay, I'm going up to the 7. And then here, this is important, right? This sounds different, okay, right? Because it's helping us identify the change. So he's making the changes there of A minor. So that's the 5th of the A minor. 11, root, or sorry, the 9, root, 9. Okay, again, harmonizing those. Okay. Okay, and then, of course, harmonize those chords. Harmonize them on 3 different locations if it's 4 consecutive strings, Great. So not only, are we kind of analyzing this chord progression, but we're also coming up with some ideas for practice and kind of what to do. I think that's a big thing that I find that in teaching anyway, is to try to, especially with jazz, is try to give someone something concrete to work on. All right, so harmonizing melody of the chord. If you can harmonize every one, that's great. If you can harmonize just whatever's on beat 1 and 3, maybe, that could be helpful too. All right, so here on the D minor. Okay, and then we get to the G7, we have the root note. Okay, and the C major 7. Right, so 9. Okay, he's gonna hit the 8. Okay, and then this is when, oops, let me go back. I forgot to switch it over. Okay, so go back a little bit. D minor. We get A. Yeah, we get an A minor triad here, right? So that's another thing, is see how would you spell out A minor from the D minor, from the perspective of that root note, right? So 5, flat 7, 9. Okay, we're back, and then we have the root note of G7, the 9, okay, the flat 7, the root, okay, and then C major 7. E flat major 7 gets the 13, right? Okay, this is going to be chromatic sort of passing tone, right? Because you get the 13. Right. And it's so reminiscent of the melody there. Or maybe it is exactly the melody. And then we're going to go into kind of a surprising plot twist, or surprising sort of sound, if I'm mistaken, or maybe not. I think later he does that. I think yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He plays a very similar line, and then he plays the sharp 11. But this time, it kind of sets it up. Maybe he's setting up our expectations, or could be just reading too much into this. Or I may have bumped ahead, and it's all very similar. But let's take a look at it anyway. I think we shifted ahead a little bit into the third chorus, but that's okay. We're kind of analyzing this note by note and line by line, so we're getting our phrases and stuff. But here, so this is the part I was kind of mentioning. So we get the major 7, very long tone, and then plays the G, because the G is going to feel more inside. All right, so that's going to give us, kind of a lot to work with there. I think that's what we should do is back up here if we have time, and look at a couple lines and make sure I'm not missing anyone. Normally I don't do the live streams at this time because of lessons, but I had someone call in or call out. Okay. All right, so let's go back, and I think I may have just kind of jumped the gun on that, and we'll also move back a little bit to some previous material, because it is sort of interesting how he arrives at that tone. All right, so we'll get like maybe a phrase or two here going, and I generally like to make the live stream at least a half hour, but sometimes longer. I should be back in the other studio space tomorrow, I think. All right, so let's check out a little bit of this here. Okay, so it's weird that it kind of cut over almost exactly. But anyway, okay, so we have A flat. Okay, so, oh, there we go, E flat on that, so that's the fifth. Okay, and we have going to the root note of A minor. Okay. Okay. All right, we get this pretty cool tone. We're getting a sharp. I think we did actually talk a little bit about this one in the previous talk, so that's fine. And the 9, so you get a sharp 11 in the 9. Okay, and then we're going to get so half a beat before the chord changes. This is very common. We move to a chord tone there, so kind of anticipates that. Okay, so we get the third of the D minor, and then we're back to 9, and the third again. Okay, get to G7. Okay, and then all right. So there's a little bit of a look at that, and maybe we'll dig in deeper at that as we go. But hope everybody enjoyed this this talk. So it's a really good tune to work out some things. You know, it's sort of a shorter form. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for checking this out. I'll see you all